Once you're inside, the first thing you'll notice is there's no instrument cluster. But what really makes it stand out is that you can actually set a passcode for it through the infotainment system. So here's a call out to XPeng: don't cut corners on safety. Features like this may seem minor, but when something goes wrong, they make all the difference. Yeah, don't ask me. Go ask the G7 product team why they made such an awkward decision. Like, this car might suit everyone, but it definitely doesn't suit every water bottle. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out XPeng's newest release, the G7. It's a mid-size electric SUV that just dropped, and while we don't have full driving access yet, we can walk through what we know: specs, design, pricing, and of course a full hands-on look at the exterior and interior. So let's start with the numbers. The G7 comes in at 4892mm long, 1925mm wide, and 1655mm tall, with a wheelbase of 28 and 19 limo. Now that height might raise some eyebrows when it comes to headroom. We'll test that in a bit. Like most modern EVs, XPeng is going with a short front overhang, which basically means they've pushed the firewall forward, compressed the hood, and freed up more cabin space. This is clearly a family-focused car. Now let's talk design. The front uses what XPeng calls the X-Face. Same vibe as the P7 Plus. Honestly, it's a bit polarizing. Some people dig the sleek, minimal look. Others say it's not quite as clean as the OG P7. Personally, I'm not fully sold on it, but I do like where they're going with the next-gen P7. It looks way more cyberpunk, and I'm here for it. Now let's take a closer look at the front end. Just like the P7 Plus, the G7 comes with 5 LED strips for daytime running lights, along with dual projector headlights. Down below, you've got 4 ultrasonic sensors for parking assist and an active front grille. This opens and closes automatically to reduce drag and improve energy efficiency. Right in the middle is a millimeter wave radar sensor, and above the license plate, a 360-degree surround view camera, nice and tucked in. Also worth noting, the signature XPeng X logo has been blacked out in a matte finish, and honestly, it looks really premium. One more detail, you'll notice there's even a small aero vent on the side of the front bumper. Again, all about reducing wind resistance. The side mirrors go with a floating frameless design, super clean and very modern. The housings are finished in black, giving it that stealthy vibe. Just underneath, there's a small blue light that lights up to show the car's current autonomous driving status. Keep looking down and you'll find 2 cameras. One handles the 360-degree surround view and the other feeds into the smart driving system. And mounted right on the front fender, there's another camera dedicated to the car's autonomous driving system, part of the full surround perception setup. The wheels feature a striking black and silver dual-tone design, and honestly, don't they kinda look like the directional buttons on a game controller? As for the tires, they are 255/45 R20 Michelin Pilot Sport EVs, a high-performance tire specifically developed by Michelin for electric vehicles. You've got flush door handles here and privacy glass for the rear passengers. Around back, the G7 goes with a fastback style rear end to help cut down on drag. The tailgate features an inward scooped design, very similar to what we've seen on the X9, again, all in the name of improving aerodynamics. Right beneath the taillight, there's supposed to be a little blue LED that lights up when the car's intelligent driving system is active. Not sure why it's not turned on in this display unit. The XPeng and G7 badges on the rear are done in a matte black finish, just like the logo up front. In fact, the entire car skips chrome altogether. No shiny trim pieces from front to back. It's a clean, minimal look. More and more Chinese automakers are dialing back the use of bright chrome, and even when they do use it, it's usually in a subdued matte finish. The tailgate release button is tucked down low, which might make it prone to getting dirty. Not really a fan of that design choice. Just above that, embedded in the black trim piece, are 2 cameras, one for the intelligent driving system and the other serving both the 360-degree surround view and the digital rear view mirror. Up top, there's a high-mounted brake light, but I didn't spot any additional camera here, so it looks like the surround view and the rear view mirror share the same lens. The charging port is located on the right side of the vehicle and uses a standard GBT connector. Once you open the cover, you'll notice there's no close button inside. You'll have to shut it manually. The side mirrors feature a frameless design, which looks really sleek. They're also fairly large, giving you great visibility of what's behind the car. Now, when I open the door, I notice that the handle doesn't have a touch sensor, unlike the X9 where the door unlocks automatically when your hand gets close. That said, once you pull it lightly, the door latch pops open pretty easily. It's super kid-friendly, no need to tug hard to get the door open. The doors use a frameless design, something a lot of automakers are going with lately. It helps create a smoother side profile, which in turn reduces drag and improves aerodynamics. The front windows use double-layer acoustic glass. Definitely a thumbs up for sound insulation. But when we move to the rear, unfortunately, it's just single pane glass back there. So yeah, XPeng didn't go all in with double-layer glass for the entire cabin. Now let's take a look at the front trunk. It's honestly a bit small. The opening isn't very wide or deep with a depth of around 20 centimeters. There's a label here that says the Frunk is washable and has drainage, which is pretty convenient. Under this panel, you'll find the coolant reservoir. The overall length of the Frunk is roughly 80 centimeters. There's a round cap here, but it doesn't seem to be the drain, but not really sure what it does. Over here, you'll see a label showing a max load of 25 kilograms, and right below that looks like the actual drainage outlet. On the far left, there's the windshield washer fluid fill port. As for the underside of the hood, unlike traditional gas-powered cars, there's no soundproofing material or decorative cover, just exposed metal. Now let's check out the door panel design, which is pretty much in line with what we saw on the P7 Plus. Up top, you've got a soft touch black leather wrap that feels quite nice to the touch. In the middle, where the armrest is, it switches to white leather with a series of pixel-style perforations, a cool little design detail that helps break up the otherwise minimal look. There's a metallic trim running across the door that integrates with the ambient lighting, giving off a nice vibe, especially at night. Toward the front of the armrest, there's a wood-textured trim piece, and according to XPeng, this is made of real wood, not the fake stuff you often see in this segment. Down at the bottom, there's a decent-sized storage compartment, and you'll notice a yellow tab. That's the mechanical door release for emergencies. The main door unlock button up near the armrest is electronically controlled. Just a light press and the door unlocks. Now let's hop into the front row. One standout feature, all four doors on the G7 are soft close, not something you often see at this price point. Neither the G6 nor the P7 Plus comes with this feature, so that's a nice touch. Once you're inside, the first thing you'll notice is there's no instrument cluster. That's right, XPeng has removed it entirely, just like what Li Auto did. Instead, they've gone with an AR head-up display setup. Over here on the A-pillar, you'll find an eye-tracking sensor. On top of the dash, there's a speaker, and right in front of the driver is this deep cutout. That's where the AR-HUD projects its visuals. Unfortunately, the display wasn't turned on in this demo unit, so we'll have to wait until the official launch to see how this Huawei-powered HUD actually performs. Right now, the only glimpse we've got is from the demo footage XPeng has released online. The cabin uses a wraparound design that feels really driver-focused. The air vents are all electronically controlled, meaning you can't adjust them manually. Everything's handled through the system. Ambient lighting is also neatly integrated with the metal trim and reflects softly off the wood accents below, giving the whole interior a pretty unique and upscale vibe. The central touchscreen measures 15.6 inches, not huge, but definitely not small either. Just below it, there's an upward-facing air vent. The air it pushes out gets reflected off the trim above before reaching the cabin, which helps avoid the discomfort of direct airflow. Actually, this design is used across all the front vents. They blow air upward and let it bounce off the panels before reaching the passengers. It's the first time I've seen something like this, and it shows that XPeng really put effort into the ergonomics here. Right in front of the center armrest, you'll find two 50W wireless charging pads with cooling support. But here's the trade-off. Because of the upward-facing vent design, you can't direct airflow toward the charging pads to help cool your phone. That might lead to overheating during charging, which can slow down the charging speed. The two front cup holders are clearly undersized. Just eyeballing it, they look to be about 7 centimeters in diameter. That means even slightly larger water bottles won't fit. So why did XPeng go with such a small size? Well, it actually has to do with the design of the center console. As you can see, the console has this raised section that adds a bit of visual layering. To keep the lines clean and aligned with the edges of the wireless charging pad, the designers made the cup holder openings flush with that surface. But the trade-off is reduced usable space. Honestly, prioritizing aesthetics over practicality here doesn't quite make sense, especially for a vehicle clearly positioned for family use. The center armrest storage compartment is surprisingly deep. Since the G7 doesn't offer a fridge in any of its trims, you get to use the entire space without any compromises. I'd say it's about 20 centimeters deep, plenty of room for storing daily essentials, snacks, or even a small handbag. The lid release button is also thoughtfully designed. It's accented with a dotted texture that not only looks nice, but also feels great to press. The surrounding trim features subtle striped detailing, which adds a bit of visual flair and keeps the interior from feeling too plain or monotonous. Below that, there's a small hidden compartment where the fragrance system is installed. You'll also find a 12V power outlet, along with both a USB-A and a USB-C port for added convenience. The seats inside the G7 are impressively soft. They're made of perforated genuine leather, which likely means they've got built-in ventilation. The material feels refined and premium. Honestly, it feels more upscale than what you get in the X9, even though that one costs a lot more. Let's take a look at the headliner. It's covered in Alcantara suede with a dark finish, and it feels super premium. Even the sun visors are fully wrapped in this suede material. You can tell XPeng really went all in to make this cabin feel upscale. The rearview mirror is a 9-inch 1080p digital streaming unit. Since we're indoors, it's hard to tell how wide the field of view is, but it looks promising. Above that, you've got your emergency call button and hazard light switch, plus 2 reading lights. You'll also notice a pair of microphone cutouts. Interestingly, there's no interior camera and no sunglasses holder, which is a bit unexpected in a car with this level of attention to detail. As for the infotainment screen, the car is powered by the Snapdragon 8295 chip, and the system runs super smoothly. Since this vehicle doesn't come with a traditional driver display, some key driving information like the gear position, turn signals, headlight status, and seatbelt reminders has been moved to the upper section of the center screen. Other than that, the overall UI and layout are very much in line with what we've seen on other XPeng models. Clean, responsive, and intuitive, no surprises here, and that's a good thing. Oh, and there's another cool highlight up front, this glove box right here in front of the passenger seat. First off, it's electronically locked and can be opened through the center screen. But what really makes it stand out is that you can actually set a passcode for it through the infotainment system. That means you can stash your valuables inside without worrying they'll be easily accessed or taken by someone else. Pretty clever feature, adds a nice layer of security, especially for a family car. All right, now let's hop into the back. First thing you'll notice, the door panel design is the same as the front, which is nice for a sense of consistency. But I've got to call this out again, single pane glass in the rear. Come on, XPeng was saving a bit of cost here, really worth it. You gave us soft close doors on all 4 doors, but then held back on double-layer acoustic glass for the back. Seriously? That's kind of a head-scratcher, especially for a car that's clearly aiming for a premium, family-focused experience. The second thing I want to talk about is actually more of a concern than a compliment. It's the way XPeng simplified the mechanical door lock for the rear seats. Instead of a clearly visible manual release, it's tucked behind a small cover. Now imagine if the electronic locks failed or the car lost all power. Passengers in the back would have a really hard time figuring out how to open the doors. And if someone's unfamiliar with the layout, they might not even realize there is a manual release. So here's a call out to XPeng: don't cut corners on safety. Features like this may seem minor, but when something goes wrong, they make all the difference. Just like the P7 Plus, the rear door armrest on the G7 has two buttons, one for the window and the other for adjusting the rear seat back angle. Let me show you the range of motion you get when reclining the rear seats. The rear legroom is seriously spacious. My knees are over 20 centimeters away from the front seat back. You've also got electronically controlled rear air vents, and right above them is an 8-inch rear display. From here you can adjust seat heating, ventilation, and even the massage function. What's even cooler is that you can use it to watch videos or listen to music. The passenger seat doesn't have any adjustment buttons on the backrest. Instead, you can control both its fore and aft movement and recline angle using the rear display. According to XPeng, the G7 supports independent audio zones for the front and rear, so passengers can enjoy different content at the same time. And if you don't want your kids watching videos in the back, you can easily lock the entertainment functions from the main infotainment screen. Since the roof features a dual-layer silver-coated panoramic glass panel, it's actually pretty dark back here. According to XPeng, this skylight blocks 99.99% of UV rays and 99% of infrared radiation. But yeah, it's so dark I had to turn on my flashlight. Below the rear air vents, there's a single USB-C port. Now you might be wondering, why not just give us two? Well, there's a reason for that, and I'll explain it in a bit. The rear floor is completely flat, which is always nice. On the B pillar, there's this sleek little metal hook, pretty premium touch. Up top, you've got a reading light, but surprisingly, it's not touch sensitive. You have to use the physical button next to it to turn it on. There's also a speaker right beside it. Now let's take a look at the rear center armrest. Look at this. There's actually a wireless charging pad built in here. And that explains why there's only one USB-C port back here. The second phone can go here to charge wirelessly. But what if you're riding with 3 people in the back? Yeah, don't ask me. Go ask the G7 product team why they made such an awkward decision. Like seriously, would adding one more USB-C port bankrupt XPeng? And one more thing, these 2 cup holders in the back, they're tiny. Like this car might suit everyone, but it definitely doesn't suit every water bottle. So next time you're picking out a drink, maybe ask yourself, can I put it into the cup holder? The rear seats are seriously plush. I'd say the outermost cushion layer is at least 2 centimeters thick. It's just incredibly soft. There's a rumor floating around that Nissan actually helped XPeng develop the rear seats for both the P7 Plus and this G7, and honestly, I believe it. Whether it's the seat height, the thickness, or even how comfy the middle spot is, this feels just like what you'd get in a Nissan. Super cozy, no complaints back here. Just like the P7 Plus, the front passenger seat back has a fold-out tray table. But XPeng made a small but smart upgrade here. They've added a foldable magnetic stand to the tray. It's perfect for holding your phone or tablet while you watch a video. Honestly, this clever little detail is something I hope every other car maker shamelessly copies. Alright, that wraps up our tour of the interior. Overall, the cabin design is really well done, stylish, clean, and premium. But those few user-unfriendly choices, plus some oddly cheaped-out features, kind of leave you feeling like something's missing. Maybe XPeng's just taking a page out of Li Auto's playbook, saving some upgrades for the next yearly refresh. Oh right, almost forgot to mention the headroom. Now, even though this car is only 1.65 meters tall, the vertical space inside is surprisingly generous. For reference, I'm 1.71 meters tall, And sitting in the back, there's still nearly 20 centimeters of space above my head. So yeah, unless you're pushing 2 meters tall, headroom won't be an issue in here. And finally, let's take a look at the trunk. Now, here's something odd. The tailgate release button is positioned way too low. Great for kids, I guess, but for the rest of us adults, not so much. You'll have to bend down just to press it. Like, why not place it between the two rear cameras like they did on the P7 Plus? Wouldn't that make a lot more sense? The trunk space here is impressively deep, easily about a meter front to back. And underneath the floor, there's a huge hidden storage compartment. The opening doesn't look that wide, but it goes way down. You can actually slide a 20-inch suitcase in there sideways, no problem. Even better, there's a built-in notch that lets you stand the lid upright so you don't have to hold it up while rummaging through your stuff. It's one of those smart little details that really makes life easier. Props to XPeng for this one. The warning triangle is tucked away right here. The tow bar is stored over here. And yes, it even comes with a reflective safety vest, your standard emergency trunk trio all neatly in place. There are also two small storage pockets on either side. You could toss in a couple packs of tissues or, a couple stacks of cash if that's your vibe. Honestly, if XPeng added a removable mesh net here to keep things from sliding around, that would have been the cherry on top. There are anchor points in all four corners of the trunk, so you can easily install a cargo net to keep everything secure. On the left side, there's a subwoofer, and just below it is an elastic strap. Rumor has it that XPeng's CEO once complained there was no place to secure an umbrella, and the design team quickly added this strap to fix that. Over on the right, you've got a 12V power outlet and a small mesh pocket underneath, perfect for holding little things like bottles or random loose items. You can also see a few grooves here which look like they're meant for an optional retractable cargo cover. On both sides, there's a hidden foldable hook that you can tuck away when you're not using it. Honestly, there are quite a few thoughtful little touches like this throughout the trunk. These clever design details really enhance the functionality and practicality of the space. I gotta give a big shout out to the design team for this one. Well done. All right, to wrap things up, here's what we know so far about the XPeng G7. There will be just two trims, the 702 Max and the 702 Ultra. Both share the same powertrain, a single rear-mounted motor producing 297 horsepower. And yes, both versions come standard with an 800V high-voltage architecture, a 5C rate LFP battery, and an impressive 702 kilometers of claimed range. No performance-oriented all-wheel drive here and no air suspension either, just a front double wishbone and rear multi-link setup. So yeah, it's pretty clear this car isn't aiming to be a performance beast. The pre-sale price is set at $35,800, but let's be honest, if you've been watching this market for a while, you already know that's just the opening act. Final pricing almost always comes in a bit lower. Rumor has it the real prices could land at $205,800 for the base Max and $225,800 for the Ultra. Now, what actually separates the two? Well, it probably comes down to the smart driving hardware. The base model may only get one Turing chip, while the Ultra could get 3. That's not confirmed yet, just speculation until the official launch fills in the blanks. All in all, despite a few quirks and questionable design choices here and there, the G7 still comes across as a strong contender, especially if XPeng nails the pricing strategy. If you want to compare it directly with the P7 Plus, just click the link in the top right corner or check the description below. We've got a full in-depth review on that too. And to close it out, here's XPeng's official demo video for the new AR head-up display. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.